Hello, everybody watching. Go with. Here we go. All shared. Hi, Sue. How are you doing? Hey, Sandra. Okay, I haven't made this in a while. Louis just said, "Is this the thing I made ages ago?" I was like, "Yeah, I think so." Was it your recipe originally?
I had you come up with it.
No, I know you didn't, but it was in you wrote it. Heatified. I'm pretty sure. And it's quite popular, and the flavour just gets better the longer you leave it, because obviously it's coffee, so it's sort of like when you leave a curry out. I think I'm going to do little mini ones, because my theory behind it is we need to bake the base, and I want the base to be cool. Yeah, leave it. I know, so it never lasts that long, does it? I want the base to be cool, so that we can add the 3 layers or the 2 layers on top of it. And I think if I did it as one big one, it would just take too long. So that's my theory, and it means that I'll spend some time filling the rest of the cupcake cases until we get some more out. These are just little silicone molds. They come in quite handy. So I'm going to get started on the base. And actually, I'll preheat the Ninja first. I need to use bake. I'll just stick it on bake. It's not going to be long at all. We'll just do that. Okay. Right. So a couple of changes, but they're quite common changes for when I'm making something like this. So for cheesecake bases, hi Kathy, cheesecake bases, anything like this, I tend to use pecans quite a lot instead of ground almonds or linseed, purely because it tastes better, in my opinion. So I'm going to use pecans instead of both the ground almonds and the linseed. So it's going to be 100 grams total. These are actually leftover ones from when we were using them at the Rushton Bakery. We can't use them at Williston because they've been opened in a gluten-containing environment. So I want to get it exact. We'll try and do exact measurements today. Right, 100 grams of pecans. And now hopefully I've also fixed my problem that I have with the blender, because the extension cable was not big enough to reach. But we've got like an extension cable for the extension cable. So hopefully it'll work. We'll see. Yes. Right. Just going to blitz these down only for a few seconds, because I want to just make a ground almond style texture. I don't want them to start forming a paste. Right. That's pretty much done. I don't mind if there's a few chunks, but no, that's pretty similar to what you'll get ground almonds wise in the store. So that's all going to go in. And yeah, there is a bit of sweetener in the base. You can add what you want to this. If you wanted some like mixed spice or something like that, then go ahead. Because you don't need to add coffee to the middle. Some people who are not a fan of coffee have made the Mocha Tart without the mocha element, and it still works fine. The coffee is just there for flavour. So play around with whatever you want to use. I have some butter and some coconut oil. I'm going to heat this in the microwave very quickly, just to melt the butter a bit more. Actually, let's sort of separate it out a bit, make it melt quicker. Again, this is another common swap, and it can Not for this recipe because obviously the rest of it contains dairy, but if you're making something like this base for like a jam tart or something and you wanted to swap the bottom out, coconut oil is a good option. Right, that's going to go in the microwave very quickly. Right. Hopefully that doesn't explode. I've moved Louis over to that side of the kitchen. He started making dinner 10 minutes ago, or 20 minutes ago now. In his defense, I did not put this live on the whiteboard to say that the kitchen was going to be in use. So that's why he's being pretty quiet, but you might hear the occasional clatter. Just made panda shortbread soft when hot, but it's foaming up. Just burnt my tongue because I couldn't wait. Panda shortbread. Oh, I'm not. I think Liam tried that once, and it did work. I think he's definitely made cookies. Yeah, you know. Right, I'm not going to bother Louis anymore. So the butter's not fully melted, but it's really soft, and just sort of squishing it here is going to get it to break up a little bit more. I'm going to add this to the ground pecans, and then the only other addition is some sweetener. Although I might actually add some vanilla as well. I've got some vanilla extract. I'll add a tiny amount. This is the one that we use at the bakery, hence why the massive bottle. And a new bag of sweetener. I'm going to need scissors. And heat seal right over the open line. Again, this is all to taste now. The only quantities you need to care about are the ground almonds or substitute and the butter. So I'm just going to do a sprinkle and then mix it all together, and it will start to sort of come together. There you go. Kind of crumbly still, but if you press it with your spatula, it holds. So there we go. I don't need to taste that. It's fine as it is. Okay. I'm just going to eyeball this. We'll go with a spoon of mix at the bottom of each. Actually, that's now I look at the cases. That's quite a lot. The bottoms of the cases are quite narrow. So we've had quite an exciting day today. It's been donut day in the bakery. Lots of donuts. We needed to test like a full batch essentially. So there might be something exciting launching on Friday. Although if you want delivery, I put an email out last night. If you want delivery before bank holiday, order by the end of today, because tomorrow is our last dispatch day. So yeah, but we're only closed for essentially one day, isn't it? It's just bank holiday Monday. But we won't be shipping anything out on Friday, I don't think. Okay, I've got a little bit left, which I can add to the cases whilst these ones are in the oven. So I just sort of scooped it in the bottom. I'm going to press it down now. Doesn't have to be too firm. My tactic with this is going to be put them in the freezer before taking them out of the silicone molds, because then they'll come out very easily. So I'm sure you've done that before, but if you have, let me know. How long did you freeze them for? And I've never actually made them as tiny little cases. So this will be interesting. I just thought you'd save some time. Hi, Karen. Got to love the hot donuts. Yeah, we've got a little donut cutter mold thing, which helps a lot, makes them very uniform. Right, those have all just been pressed down ever so slightly, and that's going to go in the Ninja on bake. essentially until they're a bit golden. That's it. In the meantime, we'll what do we do first? I'll carry on with these for a little bit. The middle isn't really time sensitive. Freeze really well and eat well from frozen. See, I cannot eat cold things. As in, like, bite into them. When people bite into ice cream, I don't get it. I can't do it. So, are you one of those people? Because it sounds like you are. I just don't understand. Right. Let's see how many more cases we can get out of this. I remember when we got these cases, but it's been several years and they're still really good. It's a very worthwhile investment. The only thing I wouldn't use silicone molds for would be something like bread, because it doesn't conduct heat very well, so you don't get like a crust. But for general cupcakes and baking like this, they're very, very useful. Let's move that away. Should get 12. I'm probably, I think I put 7 in the oven. Yorkies, yeah, don't use silicone molds for Yorkies. Again, it's the heat, isn't it? Yorkies need the high heat from the tin. I think I've got 12 soon. Got a little bit of extra meat, which I'll just sort of divide. Okay. Did I say hi to Christina? Was that in my head? I can't remember. Hi, Christina, if I haven't already said it. And hi again if I did say it, and then I just forgot. Catching up with comments is hard sometimes. Okay. Using a smaller spoon would make this easier, but I can't be bothered to go over there and get one, so we're making do. Okay. Couple more bases, which can be baked later. Right. So, I have to use the same bowl. Why not? If you want a clean bowl, use a clean bowl. I can't be bothered. Mascarpone now. Now this can be subbed with cream cheese, which is what I would tend to use, but we do have a tub of mascarpone in the fridge, so I'm going to use it. And we need 150 grams. This is a 250 pot Louis. There's going to be a spare 100 grams of mascarpone for you. Unless Dad gets it first. It is technically in our fridge, not Louis' fridge, but. Okay. So 150 grams of mascarpone and 2 heaped teaspoons of instant coffee mixed with 60 ml of water. Set that to cool. Now, in my head, I had it down as like 20, although actually I've gone up to about 50 there. I made that before I went live, so that's some coffee, instant coffee with boiling water, which is hopefully cooled quite a bit by now. One of the problems with this tends to be that the middle gets too runny. Now, it could be that the mascarpone for some reason is runny, but it's very rarely an issue unless you come for like a low-fat version. Do they even do low-fat mascarpone? They probably do. Right, here we go. The other thing is maybe you just need to use a little bit less water, or the water was quite warm when it went in. So we'll see. So mascarpone in there doesn't really need breaking up. It's going to be just fine. I'm using the same bowl that the base was made in because I can't bother to use another bowl. So it's got remnants of pecans in. I'm sure no one's going to complain. Yeah, next, coffee in. And then again, sweetener to taste. You can add other flavorings at that point. My go-to, if this is quite runny, is I would add a dash of cocoa powder because you're already making a Mocha Tart, so what's wrong with more cocoa? And it is a thickener. It doesn't absorb a lot of moisture, so it would work. I'm going to put a tad of vanilla in. Hey, B. And again, some sweetener. 20 grams. Again, this is all to taste. I just kind of eyeball it. Nothing's ever gone wrong when I've been doing measurements like that. Oh, let me use my spatula. You can use a whisk. I did actually get a whisk out. We'll see if I need to use it. First, though, I'm just going to sort of squish the mascarpone down, get it to sort of break apart a bit. Yeah, do you know what? For once, I'm going to use a whisk. I very rarely do. Because I hate when all the mix gets stuck inside. Be quite careful because I don't want the coffee to splash everywhere. It smells amazing already. I mean, roasted pecans in the base. Technically roasted because they're going in the oven now. Wing it, exactly, Sandra. Just going to check the bases. Yeah, they're good. We're going to take them out because they obviously need to cool quite a bit before we add the second layer. So they're going to cool for a little bit here. And then when the tray isn't piping hot, I'm going to put them in the freezer. Not to freeze, but to just chill them very quickly. Right, so you see the sort of colour is going now. Unsurprisingly, a coffee style colour. Or caramel, beige. I would, for scientific purposes, taste this to make sure you've got the sweetener and flavouring right. Spot on. Oh, that tastes amazing. Right, there's the filling. I'm going to leave that as it is for now. Last step is the ganache. So, this was Louis' recipe, and it hasn't changed in method since he first made it.
It's good, perfect.
Because apparently it was perfect. Yeah, no, it does actually work really well. I mean, it's really simple. Heat cream, and then add chocolate. Not heat chocolate, and then add cream. Two different outcomes.
This is where we got the ganache recipe from, isn't it? The chocolate ganache. Heat cream, put chocolate in.
Is this where it originated from? I thought it was the chocolate cheesecake. Right. Apparently, this is the origin. I mean, we've got a history lesson here. This is the origin of the chocolate ganache recipe from a couple of years ago. When it was made for FFS, I think. So, when did we upload? No, that was 3 years ago. Yeah, 2020. Wow. Okay. 100 grams of double cream. I've got another one out just in case, but actually there's enough here. And no, I'm going to need to use the microwave again. I need to find a lid because you don't want the cream to bubble over. And that's what I normally use. Here we go. Right. Heat the cream in the microwave for 60 seconds with a lid on. Break the dark chocolate into small pieces and add this to the heated cream. Stir to melt the chocolate. Be back in 60 seconds. Now, I'm going to hope the method still works. I've not done this in a while. If it fails, I'll blame Louis. Can't hear it. He's got his headphones in. To the cream, I'm going to add 25 grams of dark chocolate, which if you've got the Aldi 85, it's conveniently 1 bar. I'm going to break this up into little pieces. And we want to heat this in the cream. We don't want to heat it up first. Only heat it in the cream. It takes a little while to melt down. You start to see little speckles first. And then it becomes a really silky ganache. And we tend to find we don't need to add anything to it, any sweetener or other flavourings, apart from if you're going to do like an orange or a mint. But again, add flavourings to your taste. I've just cracked the chocolate up within the wrapper into quite small pieces. How's it doing? Good.
I wasn't.
What, did it last the 60 seconds?
Yes.
Because I didn't hear the microwave beep.
59.
Oh, you're one of those people that
Yes.
turns the microwave. Right. 59 seconds later, the cream is heated. It started to bubble, but the lid on top has obviously meant that all the moisture is still in there. And we're going to very slowly melt the chocolate. I say slowly as in you don't need to be careful with it. It's just going to take some time and you just got to be patient. If you're heating the cream over a stove, take the thing off the heat before you add the chocolate. It's the same method. Once the cream starts bubbling, take it off the heat. So it starts. I don't know how well you can see that. It's like a really, really pale, speckled brown. Louis has a speaking part. Yeah. Oh, it's his recipe. I can talk about it. Right, and the chocolate's started to make the cream go really nice and silky now. And again, I'm going to leave this aside. These are chill enough to put in the freezer. Not a full tray, obviously, but the silicone cools down pretty quickly. I need to get that chicken in. So we'll move that. So they are still warm. I just want them to not be like completely scorching. I don't want them to melt the mascarpone lid. What is Louis? Why did I just say Louis? What's Louis making? That's what I was trying to say. What's Louis making? He's making 1.5 kilos worth of chicken fillet nugget things. Coated chicken. Meal prep. Alright, chocolate has fully melted now. And this works best if you let it sit for a little while, especially if you're going to drizzle it on something, because it will sort of thicken up again as it cools down. I mean, you can use it, especially with mold like this. It's not going to go anywhere, so you can use it now if everything else is cool. But again, we want to keep this mascarpone filling cool. So we can set that aside for a short time as well. In the meantime, we can get the rest of these baking. And it's basically just a bit of waiting around. I might be impatient and I might get a few out of the freezer a bit earlier than I would normally, just because, you know, we're live and we want to see some results. Although saying that, results are going to have to come in the form of a picture because they're going to need to be pretty frozen in order to get them out to the silicone molds and get 3 distinct layers. That's the hope. If it doesn't work, I'll use an old photo. Here's one I made earlier. 8, and we'll go for 5 minutes. Okay. If anyone has any questions, now is an opportune time. Otherwise, I'm going to be really impatient and get one out of the freezer already. Oh, actually, have some, obviously, well, we have loads of spare pecans and an entire bag of Brazil nuts. I'm going to use some of these to decorate on top. Nice little addition. I've used cacao nibs in the past. They work really nicely as well. Oh, and I can't remember when it was, but it must have been a little while ago. That Nutella I made, or choc hazelnut spread, it's still in the cupboard. Still good. Because again, if you use clean spoons, it'll last for ages. I must start what you're making. I'm making Mocha Tart. I can't actually remember if I put the link in. Yes, I did put the link in the video description. Essentially, it's like 3 layers. So you've got like a cheesecakey biscuit base. So today I've used pecans instead of ground almonds. Sort of blitzed them up, made a ground flour type of thing from pecans, mix them with butter and a bit of sweetener, press them down, and then you bake them really quickly just to sort of give it a nice bit of toasting. And then you've got the mascarpone / coffee layer, which again, you can omit the coffee. Obviously, it won't be a mocha tart, but it will still be a flavoured tart. You can add whatever you want in. Bit of cocoa powder if you want to make like a 2 chocolatey two-tiered chocolate tart thing, or maybe some fresh raspberries or something like that. Anything you want. And then chocolate ganache on top. This has already started. It develops like a little skin on top, which obviously goes away when you start mixing it again. But it shows how the color changes slightly as it cools down. No panda, no V, no. This is a 3-year-old recipe. It was made before panda. When I made the hazelnut spread, I added orange extract. It was delightful. That sounds like a very, very good idea. Yeah, I mean, so I've got that much left. So like a third. And it has been several weeks, I'm sure. So these kinds, I mean, the almond one is in there as well. Your ganache doesn't thicken. Louis, we have a technical question about the ganache. Sue says it doesn't thicken. So Louis says depends on the temperature, but I'm assuming Sue is waiting for it to cool down.
If it's completely cold, it either goes like crust or
Gooey, yeah.
But it depends on the room temperature.
So potentially, if it's too thick, it wouldn't set. Yeah.
It will still set.
So what do you mean by it doesn't thicken? Do you mean in the bowl or on something? Because basically, Louis is saying it's down to temperature.
You need to pour it on and then let it cool.
Mm.
If you try and like punk it or something, it's a liquid. It waits.
What chocolate did you use, Sue? Because potentially it could be the things in the chocolate. Different brands of chocolate would affect it. How many carbs was whole lot? I don't know. Give me 1 second.
Adding more cream.
In bowl.
Yeah, no, it will, but it's not. It's not ganache. It's melted chocolate.
Yeah, I mean it's still.
Like as in leave it for an hour.
There you go. That's how runny it is at the moment. So it's still runny, but you can sort of see it doesn't hold itself together, but it's like it's not completely free flowing.
Like a churro.
Like a churro sauce. There we go. V, this makes 12 slices, and actually I got 12 cupcake cases out of it as well. 1.4 carb thing. Aldi or Lidl, but can't remember now. Been a while. Oh, so we've used both of them and they've been fine. Oh yeah, it's fine once on. Yeah, so once it's been added to something and it's been properly cooled down, and obviously it's a really thin layer then as well. It doesn't set like a crackle chocolate. It sets like a gooey chocolate. I froze mine covered in chocolate and ate it from the freezer. It was like an orange praline chocolate. Wow. All right, I'm going to be impatient. Let's see what the faces are like. Oh, yeah, they're fine. Let's get these out. So, the base of the silicone mold is still slightly warm, but the actual top of the biscuit thing is cool enough. The ninjas just beat as well, so I'm gonna just leave them in there. I'll deal with them later. Right, coffee part. So, yeah, I'll use that for this. I'm gonna sort of. There's quite a lot of mix here, so I'll be quite generous with the amount we add. As long as it stays in the mold and doesn't overflow, we're fine. I'm going to try and do this quite neatly because I want, like, as I said, 3 distinct layers. So what, it's been ages since I've baked something. There we go. About that much. Technical terms. This much per cupcake. And again, trying to keep it quite flat. I'm doing the tactic now. A dollop, yeah, see? Technical terms. Coco. Oh, actually, that was the wrong dog. That was a high-pitched bark. Sounded like Coco, an official tablespoon's worth. Yeah, I mean, probably. If we use those measurements. I could weigh it out. You know, if you wanted 12 equal sized ones, weigh it. Hey Bridget, haven't made it before, definitely going to now. Have fun. Add different flavourings if you want. Maybe get some freeze-dried raspberries to go on top. That'd be nice. I think pecans in the base is a definite good shout. Makes everything better. Okay, so I've got plenty left. I mean, you can't see that side, it's on that side. Plenty left for the other 5, which are cooling down. And then finally, if I wasn't trying to get this done on live, I would freeze them, just chill them. And I might do that with the other ones in case this backfires because I'm being impatient. But this isn't, yeah, no, that's, I couldn't feel much heat coming off that. So I'm going to very gently sort of pour the ganache on. Yeah, it's lovely and silky. Such a simple recipe as well. And you can find it on the chocolate cheesecake recipe as well. Right. So I've got plenty left as well. Okay, I'm going to go without the spatula because I don't want to smear the layers too much. I'm going to try and coat, so basically all you can see is the ganache. But again, I do know that these are not quite cool enough to make crisp layers. You never know, might surprise myself. But I doubt I'd win Bake Off. Right. And these can sit in the fridge if you're not in a hurry. Or freeze them. And like with everything, 3 to 4 days in the fridge or freeze. That's general storage guidance. Yes, Sandra, it's in the FFS book. Okay. Yeah, nice, silky chocolate ganache tops. Right, they're going to go back in the freezer. The other two, the remaining bits of the fillings are going to stay out. Yeah, it's also on the website, V. The link is in the description of the video. These two are going to wait out just whilst those last 5 bases are cooling down, and I'll spend more time apart between each stage for those. But there you go. So they're quite chunky little cupcake cases now. Shouldn't take too long to set in the freezer, and I'll post about them if I can get a decent photo of them. It might be for the second batch when I can take more time. Oh, actually, I forgot. Move that out of the way. Little bit of decoration on top, totally unnecessary, but I have loads of pecans to use up. I want to use them. Hey, Mira. So pecan themed mocha tarts today. And because the ganache is still silky, they're going to sort of stick in. All right, there we go. That one's a good one. Hopefully you can see that. I can't get the camera to focus, but you can kind of see the pecans are sliding around a little bit because the ganache is still fluid. Right, they're going to go in the freezer. That lot's going to be done off camera. And thank you very much for watching. 40 minutes, we're done. I think the next live is Friday. Yes. Protein and Panda with Mark and Sue. That's like a ready, steady cook style thing. And then Sunday at 4 o'clock, chicken satay with Gemma. So there we go. Those are the 2 lives for the rest of the week. Now chocolate drizzle with the pecan. I've got to save the rest of the ganache for the other 5 for me. But good suggestion. Yeah, pecans do make the best bases. Yeah, if you haven't tried it in any sort of cheesecake base, do give it a go, especially if they're roasted. Taste amazing, very caramelly. Okay, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you at some other point, probably on Friday. I might be in behind the scenes, but yeah.